This is Miguel Murphy, and I'm here with one of our esteemed student leaders, Kherby Jean, and we're going to have a conversation for the next 20 to 25 minutes about Kherby's experience in Europe, and he will go into detail. But this, again, is one of many, as I mentioned in the previous video, of many conversations that we're going to have on campus, in the office, in different spaces on campus about our experiences. And we don't know what it's going to yield, but we know it's going to, advance us, so to speak. So Kherby, introduce yourself. Let us know what your pathway or your major is. Mm-hmm. Currently, I know that you're ending formally because as we're recording here, today's the last day of the summer term. And so it's the sort of extended first year concept, right? Fall, spring, and now the end of summer. So introduce yourself and let's get a sense of who you are and what your goals are.
Well, my name is Kherby Jean, first and foremost. My major is architecture. I graduated from North Miami, 2017. This is when I'm going to start my second year at Miami-Dade. I finished my first year, took a lot of classes and summer classes also. And one of the experiences that I went to was going to study abroad, which was in Prague.
So we have a map, behind us. Can you kind of point us to Prague? We have Africa here, Europe.
Prague is right here.
Okay, so
in Czech Republic.
So close to Germany,
close to
Poland.
Germany.
Okay.
Right. So we not only Prague, but we also had a chance to go to Vienna and Slovakia.
Wow.
So actually, the story is that the plan was to only go to Slovakia, but then one day, we were like, what should we do today? And then the countries are so close, and then we just took a train to Vienna. And that gives you an idea of how easy it is to maneuver to different countries in Europe because they're so close together.
Nice. So how long did you go for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And how did this concept come about? When did you sort of decided that, you wanted to study abroad? Like, I really want to do that. When did it move from like an idea to actually manifesting? And what were the steps?
Well, the steps were not that hard. It wasn't that hard. I had to go to the website. They offered, but I had to write an essay. Okay,
you wrote an essay. And when you say website, this is the study abroad website.
MDC Study Abroad website.
At Miami-Dade College.
At Miami-Dade College,
so, for those students that don't know the website, you can go to mdc.edu, and if you do a study abroad search, that could actually take you to the...
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So I had to propose what my passion was and why I wanted to do study abroad. And so I did that, and I got accepted to it, actually. Excuse me. I got accepted to it, and I actually got accepted to it last. It was like a last-minute thing because I was still confused on what to do, if I wanted to do study abroad or not, depending on the classes that I had to take. But I took the step forward and said that I wanted to take that experience and finally go study abroad into Europe. Yes.
So, in terms of preparation, what did you bring with you?
What did I bring with me? Well, first of all, first it was that you had to make sure. Well, there were a lot of papers, a lot of like 10 to 15 papers. You had to sign. You had to go to the doctor, insurance. You had to take care of all of these things because the school wants you to be safe. Once you go to study abroad, if anything happens, Miami-Dade will come get you and fly back to Miami.
Okay.
So a lot of paperwork, and you have to follow the process, and also the payment. Right? There's also the payment. They give us the option to pay periodically.
Okay,
So
like a
they-
payment plan.
Exactly.
Okay, how long? What was the length you would say?
I think the program opened, I think November, and the professor gave us December to February
Okay.
to pay the full amount.
Okay, so you broke it down in
Exactly.
pieces.
So you don't have to, pay it at once. So it's not mandatory to pay it at
Gotcha.
once.
So when you got over to Prague, was that your first stop?
Well, no. The flight was 8 hours in total, I believe. So we went to from Miami to London, and from London to Prague. So it was two round trip.
Two legs.
Yes.
And so Miami to London, how long was that?
Miami to London. Well, I think that one was 8 hours.
8 hours.
And
An
then
8 hour flight.
an
Lots of
8 hour
sleep,
flight.
lots of reading.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then from London to Prague,
I think it was 3 hours.
3 hours. So a total of 11.
11. Yes.
Flying hours.
Yes.
Did you lose your mind, or you were at peace? And
I was
more
at peace. I was at peace. We were playing Uno on the plane, so we were ready to just
Gotcha.
just lose our minds on the plane.
So you were part of a delegation of how many students?
I believe 14 students.
14. So you
Yes.
weren't at all lonely. You
No.
Okay.
No.
Nice. So when you got to Prague,
Mm-hmm.
what did you do? Like on the first day, you got situated.
Well, yeah, we got situated. Went to our hotel. It was pretty amazing. Went to our hotel, and then we just settled down. Went over what we needed to do and the goal for the study abroad, because I was taking 2 classes over there.
Okay.
So
Can you go into detail as to
the classes,
what these classes were?
right? So it was architectural study abroad. So I had to take 2 classes. They were presentation and I believe portfolio. Well, presentation and theory. Theory. Architectural theory and presentation or portfolio.
Okay.
Right. So I took these 2 classes, and we had. It wasn't like a regular class. That means it wasn't like we had to go to a room and the teacher would teach, but it was more of as we move along, that would be the class.
Right.
And we would experience.
So it's more of an open space.
Right.
Learning in the open
Right.
sort of experience.
So as we move over to the different places and we see different buildings, over time we learn, and we made presentations.
Okay, because I was
Base.
about to ask. So,
Right.
how were you assessed on
Right.
your learning? So presentations. What did you present about? What was your presentation?
My presentation was about deconstructivism, which
Okay.
was based on the architectural theory class, the architectural theory class, and deconstructivism is about the X, I would say, of architecture, because it's not normal. When you think of deconstructivism, you think of something abnormal, and it deconstruct the norm architecture. So the norm of what you see all around you, deconstructivism is the opposite of that. So that was my presentation, and for presentation in class itself, we had to do drawings.
Okay.
So because presentation and portfolio is preparing you for the upper division in architecture, because you have to create a portfolio to move to upper division. So the teacher tells you to do drawings of the buildings, of the things that we saw. So that's what we did for presentation.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So I have a question,
What?
and you may find this familiar. What actions did you take, right, in Europe that you think would lead to a good consequence
Would lead
in
to a
this
good
present
consequence.
state? That you're back here and you presented in your class, but what specific things happened over there that you think will, add to what you continue to do here?
Well,
Whether it's in
certainly-
the classroom or in your organization, which we'll get to, because I know that you're the secretary of
Right.
the Minorities of the Future
Right.
here at the North Campus.
Right.
So we'll touch a bit on your goals as
Okay.
well.
It was certainly the experience that I would take on forward. it was the knowledge and what I've learned throughout the experience. You know, the different buildings, the different architectural theories that I could use for my designs and architecture specifically, and the different cultures that are over there, and as I could use as a whole. You know, I went to Czech Republic, I went to Slovakia, I went to Vienna, and I could actually use that in my resume. Could actually use that in my resume and use that towards my benefit for architecture itself.
Nice. So, for a student that may be interested in study abroad and is either not sure
Right.
or apprehensive about the process, what would be your advice to them?
You know, it's really easy. It's incredibly, incredibly easy. I remember I was on Snapchat and I saw, it was summer, I think last year summer, and I saw a lot of students went to study abroad on a boat. And I wondered, how could I ever do that? You know, I never imagined that I would be going study abroad. And I was in Czech Republic. And the transition, it just, you have to make it happen. It's possible. You have to make it happen. And it's an easy process. You just have to write the essay, make sure you maintain your grade point average, your grades, and so on and so forth. Make sure, because, well, since we're talking about doing things to go, just make sure you stay on task and you have your goal, and that you know that you're preparing to go study abroad.
That's some good tips.
Yes.
You make me want to explore the process.
Right.
So let's switch gears a bit. I know that study abroad is essential, and a lot of planning actually needs to go into that to make it very successful, as you have demonstrated. But minorities of the future.
Right.
What does that group mean to you, and how did you get involved? And what are some key things that a student, young man, for example, starting college, can expect from the group?
Well, Minorities of the Future is a organization that uplifts minority men, minority males, and Miami-Dade, North Campus. For now, we plan to expand even more. You actually brought me to Minorities of the Future, and when I went to the meeting, I saw incredible individuals speak about popular topics, and that was something foreign to me, right? We just spoke about concrete topics. We did discussions. They had presentations, and I learned so much from them. And from there, I stayed on, and I knew from that moment on, I wanted to be a part of that organization, and I wanted to be an e-board member of that organization, in which I've ran for secretary, and I'm the secretary of Minorities of the Future.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it has been an amazing experience, learning so much from these young men and from the advisors.
Gotcha. So what would you, because we have a number of young men starting college, and Miami-Dade College, and at the North Campus specifically, what would you share with them in terms of getting involved very early on? To get on campus, and you want to have a support network. I mean, I have my ideas of why I think they should get involved.
Right.
But why do you think, or what would you advise them?
Right. It is critical. It is incredibly critical for you guys to get involved as much as possible. And it's not because upper division colleges look at that. It's not because, which is true, it's not because of these things, but the connections that you create. It's the people that you meet within these organizations that will shape who you are in college. And Minorities of the Future provides a brotherhood and resources and knowledge and connections to get you where you want to be. So I would encourage any minority male that is watching this video to take the first step and come to Minorities of the Future.
When do you guys meet?
Well, we meet on Fridays from 3 to 4, which is our regular meeting.
Okay, what's the room?
I believe 2158.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So so we talked about study abroad. We talked about minorities of the future and involvement. Let's sort of frame the first year. What are some key things do you think that happened for you over the course of this academic year that stood out?
Okay.
You know, here on campus and in the classroom.
In the classroom. My first year, it was great. My first year at Miami-Dade was really, really nice. I've met a lot of people, and my first semester especially was kind of hard. It was kind of hard, challenging, of course, because of architecture and managing classes. See, my mindset was that from high school I had 8 classes, and I could do the same thing in college. Not get 8 classes, but brought it down to 5. So I took 5 classes in my first semester, thinking I could go head on, but it got hard over time. And there were a lot of sacrifices that needed to be made. Right, so what I'm saying is that I was trying to go fast. I was trying to move really, really fast without knowing where I'm going. So taking a lot of classes, do this, do that. But I need to just calm down and just, okay, so this is my plan. This is what I need to do. This is where I'm going. So, of course, it's good to just go faster, but you just need to know where you're going and not just take classes and take classes and take classes, right? One other thing, of course, Minorities of the Future. My first year in college. Just keep joining clubs, get familiar around campus, because I am aware, and I know a lot of people are aware of the concept, well, not the concept, but the stereotype of Miami-Dade, of how it's just Miami-Dade. But if you look through, you can see a lot of opportunities that is offered within Miami-Dade. You know, just
there are many.
There are many, right? As you see, study abroad.
Study abroad being one, and work study. Do you and that those were fabulous pointers, particularly the 8 class.
Exactly.
Sort of like I did 8 classes, and you know, I think 5, 6. Sometimes as an advisor, students come in and they're like, "Yeah, I want to do that," and I'm like, "Yeah, you could, but I want to hear your plan." And if you're articulating that you have a time management plan in place to help you, right, do your homework,
right,
go from class to class, and what if you have multiple exams, maybe within the same week?
Right.
How are you going to sort of manage that, right? Sometimes you have those skills of time management that are well developed that will help you to get through that. But sometimes, and in most cases, I think, you know, coming in and transitioning, you need to learn, right, the ropes, so to speak. So tread lightly, first year students. It's good to have good goals and big dreams, and we'll help you to get there.
Right, right.
You know, if you want to get to the moon, we'll figure out how to get to the moon, etc. But good tips. But work study is an area that I do want to touch on. Do you currently work on campus?
Yes, I do. I work for the math department.
Oh, you work in the math department?
Yes.
Okay.
As an ILA.
Okay. What is an ILA?
An ILA is an instructional learning assistant. I was actually able to get that job through Minorities of the Future.
Okay.
So I spoke to the advisor, and he told me I could get you a job, you know, just for you to get more, even more familiar on campus. So I work as an LA. I tutor students. I go over, you know, general things with the teacher, and also go to a separate room in the math department in the second floor, on the second building.
Okay, 2222?
2222 1. It's a separate room.
Okay.
Yeah.
He works in the math, so we do have to distinguish. Right?
Yeah. So I just tutor the students, and it's an amazing opportunity, an amazing experience to see students actually transition from what is math and I can't do math, and to see, oh, this is actually cool, this is really nice, I just have to learn the formulas, and then I'll just get the idea and just be able to do math. So that was an amazing experience on my part.
Nice.
Right.
So, what's the work study process?
The work study process. So it's really easy. Again, it's really easy. You go to the website, you go to, I believe, FAFSA, and through FAFSA you can see work study and job list, and you click that.
Is that on the Miami-Dade College?
Yes, Miami-Dade College.
The financial aid
Financial
department's
aid,
website.
Yes.
Okay, so mdc.edu / financial aid, or mdc.edu / work study.
Yes.
And it should take you to the work study hub,
Yes.
so to speak, and
Yes.
You can search for
Yes.
a job.
And they will list multiples jobs. And once you click on it, it tells you what you will be doing and the requirements for it. So it's very easy to visualize everything that you will be doing in those jobs.
Nice. And you put in your application. And,
Right.
hopefully you are the individual that they select for an interview to prospectively get the job.
Right.
So there's much more that we can talk about, and all good things have, come to an end, and this was a good conversation. I'm going to invite you back so that we can, particularly as you go through your second year and you learn of these second year, right? You get these insights, or you see things happening, right? That we can sort of pinpoint and come up with solutions for. So it's been an honor. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
And what you're doing in Minorities of the Future, and as an architect. My brother is an architect as well, so that area is near and dear to me as well. So he's the architect version of me. So until next time, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And folks, keep in tuned with our conversation, and we have lots of conversations that will occur. And I do want to thank our cameraman for today. You don't see him, but Mr. John Myrie, he's the president of Minorities of the Future. So I just want to give him a special shout out. Till then, this is Miguel Murphy, mmurphy3 at mdc.edu. Take care.